So those are all the mid-cap stocks that are in focus, but let's get some fundamental calls going now. Mr. S.P. Tulsian joins in. Mayuresh Joshi is also with us to discuss all of the stocks in focus right now. Gentlemen, afternoon to both of you. Mr. Tulsian, the stock of the moment clearly is Britannia, 10.5% higher now. So it's inching back closer towards its 52-week or its all-time high. What's the sense post-earnings? Do you expect a bigger re-rating here on? Because, there are still some niggling worries with respect to margins, etc.
Sonia, definitely the results are quite good, but I won't be taking a positive call from here on, because if you really see the stock having run in the past also, we have seen a good numbers coming in from the company, but thereafter the prices have not been able to sustain. So yes, no question on the results, which have been really good, but I won't be taking a positive call from here on.
Okay, Mr. Tulsian, good afternoon. Wockhardt is the other stock of the day. Does this import alert change your thesis on the stock, or do you think this is a buying opportunity? How would you approach it from here on?
See, Anuj, each news an independent news, and definitely this US FDA alert, though it has come on the API unit, which is not very significant, but that definitely panics the market. And if you really see, for last couple of years, company has not been able to redress on Chikalthana, Waluj, and maybe the Shendra facility, though the market has been expecting that to happen. And I won't be taking this as serious that if the Ankleshwar unit has got some US FDA alert, things will not get redressed for the Chikalthana or maybe Waluj, because as I say that each issue is an independent for an independent unit. So I'm keeping my positive stance, positive view on the stock. But if you really see the reaction which has been given by the market seems to be over exaggerated. I don't think that this kind of reaction was warranted, but market is not happy. And in fact, if you see maybe the US FDA issues which have been happening, maybe one relief coming in for either of the plant, maybe first it is likely to come for the Chikalthana. If that comes, that will be seen as a very big boost. And as I've said, that each issue is an independent one. Maybe if someone has a little longer term horizon of maybe 4 to 6 months, they can definitely look to take a call on the stock, because I am not worried and I am quite hopeful that US FDA issues will get resolved for their other two plants of that Aurangabad, Chikalthana and Waluj, maybe in next 3 to 4 months time.
Okay, Prakash, any last hour ideas that you have?
Yes, Sonia, I like to, one is Advanced Enzymes, just 5 days of data, but yes, it looks good to me and can climb to levels close to around 1500 zones, stop below 1420. And second is Arvind Limited, that looks good, given a wood breakout, can climb to levels close to 322, stop below 307.
Okay, Prakash, thanks a lot for those trading ideas. The market's been stable today, 87.07 is what we have. Let's see if we have Mitesh back with us. Okay, Mitesh, so we were discussing, of course, Britannia, but apart from that, any other stock ideas for last hour of trade?
Yeah, I think Cummins is having a good breakout today, so it's moved slightly, so try to buy it around 900 with a stop just below 878 or thereabouts, and 940 could be a good target. The other stock which I've been liking a lot, Mahindra & Mahindra, it's failing to get past this 1495, 1500 zone, but I think the setup is quite positive. So buy that one with a stop at 1474. And once it crosses 1500, I think 1540, 1550 should be a good short-term target.
Okay, Mayuresh Joshi is also with us. Mayuresh, the other big mover right now in the last half an hour is Colgate post its numbers. How did you read into the volume growth of 6% and the fact that the market share has grown further? Would you add incrementally into this stock if you had it already?
Afternoon, Sonia. Yes, I think the numbers in terms of how the volume growth has panned out has been exceptionally good and rather better than what the street was expecting. Secondly, I think the gains that they've made in the volume market share, I think even that is commendable looking at the base that Colgate is working out of. Third, probably the kind of distribution reach and the management perspective of improving its reach further going ahead. I think that will lay further impetus in terms of how the earnings for the stock will pan out. And fourth, as I was hearing your analyst point out, I think if they're getting further variants into the Ayurvedic area itself, there might be some increase probably on the A&P part with new launches coming through, more promotional spends happening, and that might have a telling effect in terms of how the margins will pan out over the next few quarters. But largely I think the volumes will offset the kind of margin impact that might see, and that will have a positive operating leverage on the balance sheet. Strong ROEs and ROCEs, very strong balance sheet, and again largely I think the earnings have been quite stable over the past so many quarters. So my own take is that investors holding on to a stock like Colgate should continue holding on.
Okay, the stock that's making a big move now is Muthoot Finance. Let's pull out the intraday chart. It was there actually 2 weeks back when it came out with numbers, especially considering that Manappuram has had such a big march over Muthoot, and now it's this follow-up buying on Muthoot Finance. Before we take a break, Mr. Tulsian, we discussed this 3 or 4 days back. You were quite positive on Muthoot. Do you think there's more to go for this stock?
Yes, Anuj, actually I have been taking the positive call only on these two companies, Muthoot and Manappuram, because if you really see the other NBFCs, the kind of run-up, and on a fundamental basis, I think both these gold financing companies, though they are not now the gold financing company, are having much scope, purely on a fundamental basis. So I continue to have my positive view. In the past, maybe 3-4 days back, we had that worry of income tax survey or the search having carried out, which the company has clarified as well, but though no clarity has emerged on that. But I am keeping positive stance on both. Yeah.
Okay, let's do one thing. We have plenty more stocks to discuss, so we'll do that on the other side of the break. For now, our closing bell money control question of the day is on the stock of the day, Britannia, up more than 10% post strong earnings. Do you see more upsides? Log on to moneycontrol.com, post your responses there. We will read out some of the most interesting ones post 3:30 p.m. today. Okay, we'll take a break on that note, but coming up, Neeraj Dalal, the founding partner of 3A Capital Advisors, will join in with his stock ideas. A lot of gems in this earnings season. The overall earnings season may have disappointed you, but beneath the surface, a lot of mid caps and non-index large caps have done pretty well. Neeraj Dalal, founding partner of 3A Capital Advisors, joins us now. He's been tracking a lot of the multi-bagger stocks with us over the years. One of his favorite stocks has been Dish TV. It did very well in the year 2015, slowed down a bit in 2016, but let's find out what's on his mind today. Neeraj, hi, good afternoon, and thanks for joining us. First, a follow-up question on Dish TV. It did very well since the time we spoke to you, but now it's cooled off a bit. Do you see more re-rating in that stock, or do you think that it stops for now?
I think currently, based on the way the company has performed. So,
right.
Okay,
we got those themes. Thanks a lot for spotting a lot of themes and individual stocks for us, Neeraj. We will keep track of all of them. Looks like the market is also getting that rub-off impact. It's now moved up yet again, about 0.5% on the Nifty. Look at that spike just in the last 5-10 minutes. And the mid-cap index is doing a better job, actually. 0.8% higher for the mid-cap index. Sudarshan Sukhani, Mitesh Thakkar are still with us. Mitesh, for the last, say, 20 minutes of trade, any ideas that you have on individual stocks that you've spotted?
Yeah, so I earlier had buys on Apollo Hospital in the day. I think that still can be bought. It's moved up about 30 points from the level recommended earlier. But at 1400, I would buy it with a stop at 1380 for targets of 1450. And Indiabulls Housing Finance is breaking past the levels of 800, 805. So that's a buy with a stop at 798 for targets of around 850.
Okay, so that's a couple of BTST ideas. Mr. Tulsian, the other stock that I wanted to discuss with you actually was Cummins and the kind of surge we have seen since the company talked about that guidance revision in con call. At 900, is it still a buy?
Anuj, can you repeat the question? I have not heard it.
Cummins, Mr. Tulsian, that stock has rallied post its con call. Is it still a buy?
No, Anuj, I won't. Yes, definitely the con call has given a very good guidance, and but if you really see the engineering space or the kind of results, unless until we see from them, I won't be taking a call on that. Yeah.
Okay, let's talk about some more stocks, because the market is quite good actually. It's moving to high point of the day, and if you look at a couple of stocks like HDFC, that's propelling the market now. Look at the intraday chart of Infosys. That stock has also seen quite a bit of bounce. So a couple of these stocks have looked good. Sudarshan, Infosys, one of your erstwhile favorite stocks. Do you get a sense that it's bottomed out and money can be made on this stock, or would you give it a pass?
No, I have to give it a pass, because it's today, after many days that we have seen a small rally there, it's not enough. So maybe it has bottomed out, but the evidence is not still unclear. So you just have to wait it out. HDFC is a far better stock to buy into. Not only is part of the bigger financials group which is doing well, it has new lifetime highs to contend with which are close by, and it can reach there.
Okay, well, stay on. We also have Varinder who joins in to give us a list of stocks that are buzzing right now and a list of stocks that you'd want to watch out for, especially in the mid-cap space. So let's start off first with our CNBC TV18 mid-cap watch list. Varinder, what do you have?
Well, a tyre company first, JK Tyres. Clearly, in the last 1 week, we have seen almost all the tyre stocks buzzing, especially after that Apollo interview where the management said the volumes are coming back into the industry. It'll be important to see whether for JK Tyres the volumes have picked up or not, especially, considering if you take into valuation account, JK Tyres is clearly trading one of the cheapest in that space, so keep an eye on that company. Netco Pharma, this company may provide some positive surprise in the results. Q1 will see impact of improvement in hepatitis C drug and the combinations. Remember, in Q4 India business was up 155% and driven by that hepatitis C drug, so that could be wanted to watch out for. Lately there was an upgrade also by one of the brokerage which came on this company. Huhtamaki PPL, this was earnings Pataka. Last time paper companies have done well this quarter. Important to see whether that trend continues for Huhtamaki or not. Tata Global Beverages, we have heard many people talking about this company. Tata Coffee reported stellar set of numbers. They are the parent company, so important numbers tomorrow from Tata Global Beverages. Subex, the company has been cleaning the balance sheet by paying off FCCBs. The company has shown good strength in terms of business as well in the last quarter. Let's see whether the company reports good numbers or not, especially the interest cost will reduce for Subex going ahead. Edelweiss financially, we all know what has been happening with almost all these brokerages, and Edelweiss clearly has been one of the strongest performers in the last 1 month. So that company will be reporting numbers tomorrow. And the last company is Wheels India, TVS Group company. This company has surprised the street with good numbers. Last quarter, the profit was 17 crores compared to only 6.5 crores. So let's see this time, what happens with Wheels India.
Okay, Varinder, thanks a lot for that. Well, I must mention again and again, we keep referring to Edelweiss as brokerage, as Varinder also pointed out, but they've really become large NBFCs now, and clearly some of the part playing out in some of these stocks. Now we are going to get you a slice of an unplugged conversation that I had with Sunil Singhania, and this is interesting because one of the stocks which has done well is Muthoot Finance, and while I was talking to Sunil and while I was talking to a lot of market gurus, there's a lot of similarities coming between poker and stock market. In fact, a couple of people have recommended books like Liar's Poker. So what are the similarities and what has led to, one of the readings out of that has actually led to this kind of move in a stock like Muthoot Finance. So let's listen in to that conversation that I had with Sunil.
I've been fortunate to be associated with the CFA Institute right from 2003, and I have had the benefit of not only traveling across the world but also meeting really senior guys. I think I always try to be a little bit cautious, so maybe he was referring to that.
Welcome back. Well, the market is not going to close at high point of the day today, but it will be, for all practical purposes, another day of new closing high, 52-week high that is, and new intraday 52-week high, which is extremely bullish. And in terms of individual stocks, a couple of stocks have seen a big rally though of the high point of the day. So Britannia has come off just a bit in terms of some profit booking, and L&T Finance Holdings is the other one where we have seen some gains. Well, let's do one. Let's get an insight into dealing room chatter. Then Nimesh Shah is here with Trader Talk. Nimesh, on Friday, of course, we had buying from both FIIs and DIIs. Is that continuing, or was that a one-off?
Well, it doesn't look like a one-off, Anuj. Clearly, so that trend continues. That's a feedback I'm getting from the dealing desk as well. So the global flow seems to be pretty strong, for the last many days. Now it seems it's catching up with the domestic funds as well. So a sense of left-out feeling as well with some of the domestic funds who are sitting on cash. So some bit of money is getting deployed now. So basically, it's the both legs now which are holding on to this market at these levels, especially in the large cap names. There is good amount of institutional buying coming in today's trade as well. So clearly that's playing out as far as the large cap names are concerned. Given that there is so much of strong liquidity, the broad sense I'm getting is maybe the downside looks protected at around the levels of maybe 8,500 or 8,600, and there's still room for upside from, especially in the large cap names and some of the momentum stocks. So that's the general sense. RBI policy will be important to watch out for, but the broad sense is a possible rate cut has not been factored in. So in case if the governor chooses to surprise the market, you'll probably see a lot of fill up in the bank stocks and in the rate sensitives in tomorrow's trade. So again, that is something to watch out for. But net, both legs now firing in terms of buying into the cash market. The downside looks protected. Probably RBI policy will be important to watch out for, but still there is a lot of momentum backed by institutional buying in the large cap names, and some bit of that is in the mid caps and small caps as well.
Okay, Nimesh, thanks for that. So, since the market has not been doing much in the last half an hour to 1 hour, let's take some time to talk about our Monday special Mid Cap Mania with Nigel D'Souza. Nigel, what's on your radar today?
Well, Sonia, the stock that we're talking about is Technocraft Industries. If we just take a look at it, exactly 1 year back, the stock has close to have doubled in the last 1 year. But in the last few trading sessions, the stock has lost close to around 9% approximately. If you just take a look at the promoter holding, it's at around 75%. So you like a company where, in fact, a promoter's holding is at the top. An influential investor as well, Anil Kumar Goel, has close to around 1% in the company. What does the company do? I'll give you a breakdown of their revenues. In fact, we have their drums closure business, that is around 31%, while we have the scaffolding business as well at around 35%. Put those businesses together, nearly around 65% of its revenues comes in from both these two businesses. And if you just compare it, if you take a look at the EBIT margins in the last year, the drums closure business definitely has to be the cash cow. It's giving you 34% of EBIT margins and ROC of around 98%. So that's looking very good. Just go further into the drums business. They're the second largest manufacturer of drums closure globally, in fact, and they have close to around 35-36% of the market share. The total market size is nearly around 800 crores, so there is scope for improvement over there, and majority of their sales really is exports, because over there they get better pricing. In terms of financials, it's not looking that great, because there's been no growth been seen for the last few years, because they are stuck at around that 1,000 crores approximately. If you just pull that up for you, 921 crores. So FY16 wasn't a great year in terms of revenues. Moving on though, the key positives from the management, if you take a look at it, they've never skipped dividend from the time they've got listed around 10 years back, and also they did a buyback last year. So that put that together, in the last year they spent close to around 150 crores via dividend payout as well as a buyback. Finally, the total number of shares now outstanding is reduced to around 2.6 crores when it compares to around 3.15 crores, and the market cap on the BSE is showing you at around 900 crores. But you just do a rough multiplication, it will show that the market capitalization is only around 800 crores. The cash and in their books is at around 212 crores, while the total loans is at around 300 crores. But you just look at the interest that they have paid as well as the other income, you'll see that they have invested fairly wisely, because other income is much higher than the interest as well. I spoke to the management. They said that they are targeting close to around 2,000 crores in the next few years. So interesting stock. Keep an eye out on this one. Back to you.
Okay. Nigel, thanks a lot for that. We've seen some profit booking today in sugar stocks. So Rana Sugar, Sugar Sugar, Dwariki Sugar, all these stocks are down a bit in trade. Varun Goel is also with us from Motilal Oswal. Varun, hi, good afternoon. So, you know, the stock of the moment is, or one of the stocks of the moment is HPCL. You have large quantity of that stock, of course, in your portfolio. Do you think oil marketing company stocks are set for more re-rating from here on as well?
Well, we've been quite positive on the oil marketing companies for some time now. We believe that the volume growth rate will be quite robust, both on the petrol and the diesel side. Of course, with the fact that there has been complete deregulation now, the working capital situation for these companies has also improved quite a bit. I think if we look at the overall financials, we are looking at 15% kind of top line growth. The bottom line growth is going to be higher because the interest burden is coming down. We are looking at return on equity somewhere between 16 to 20% with a dividend yield of around 4 to 5%, and most of the stocks are available at less than 10 times 1 year forward earnings. So we believe that this segment will continue to do well with very robust earnings growth for the next few years.
Okay, well, robust earnings growth for the next few years. But, let's also get some final calls going, because we have just about 7 minutes to go before the day comes to an end. Mr. Tulsian, we were talking about a lot of the FMCG names, the stocks that have done well, the likes of Colgate, Britannia, etc. Tata Coffee is another one that has done exceptionally well. From this space, do you have any ideas from the smaller guys, the ones that we don't track closely, anything that catches your eye that one can still invest into now?
See, Sonia, I don't think that you have any smaller stocks available in the FMCG space, because I don't think that those things are available. But yes, one stock comes to my mind with, maybe with a little longer horizon is the Imami, or maybe, second stock which you can add is the Godrej Consumer Products. So these two stocks are still looking good, having good upside potential, because if you really see, Imami always have Q2 as the best number because of the winter season approaching from November, and they always have the sales starting in this Q2. So Q2 and Q3 are always good. So maybe expecting that, and monsoon is seen as the bigger beneficiary. So, but I'm not too comfortable on the Tata Global Beverages, in spite of seeing the good numbers of Tata Coffee, and even for that matter, I'm not very happy and satisfied with the Colgate Palmolive numbers also, because if you see the sequentially operating profit fell from 212 crore to 180 crores, and I'm unable to understand that why market has given such a big thumbs up with stock having moved to 6%, because if you see the EPS also fell to quite low, with on the sales also remaining practically stagnant on a QOQ basis, because what is happening now, the companies are giving YOY results, in the tabulated forms, and it is very, sometimes analysts are not able to compare it on a YOY on a QOQ basis. So I think that this is a false analysis of the Colgate numbers, seem to be quite good. I agree that maybe there is a quantity, the volume growth of about 6%, but that is not enough, because if you really see, operating profit and PAT has sharply fell down on a QOQ basis. So yes, maybe a pause need to be given to all FMCG, whether you talk of Marico or Dabur, because they have run up quite a lot, and maybe like Colgate. But yes, these two stocks, Godrej Consumer and Imami, looks good, that too with a little longer time horizon. Yeah.
Okay, just about 4 minutes left for markets to close. Let's get some technical thoughts. Sudarshan, for the index, would you want to take home some profit since the momentum is sagging a bit, or would you say that this is a market in which you just need to trail your stop and the market will do less for you?
No, we have to trail our stops. You are right about that. The stops are 86, 80. It's quite tight. But I would stay with today was a very narrow range day, Anuj. Narrow ranges eventually lead to a breakout. We'll assume that the breakout will again be on the upside unless proved otherwise.
Okay, so the breakout could continue to be on the upside. By the way, we haven't really taken a look at what our global counterparts are doing, because over there, the run has been so very strong today. The Japanese market closed with almost 400 points in terms of gains. So did Hong Kong. It was 350 points there. And the last time I checked, some of the European markets were up and about in the green. So as you can see, Germany is very sprightly today, up almost about 8%, and so are the other markets. The Dow futures, after a very great run, very strong run that those markets had on Friday, Dow futures indicating that there could be some more on the upside. Tomorrow we have the big RBI policy. There are not too many expectations there, but it will be Governor Rajan's swan song. Varun, are you expecting anything from this policy? The talk is that some liquidity measures could be announced. NBFCs in any case have been up and about, but what is your own expectation from the event tomorrow?
Well, my sense is that there should be no rate cut for now. I think RBI has already introduced enough liquidity in the market, which is reflecting in the reduction in bond yields for the last 3 months. I think once the CPI inflation starts cooling down, which it should, considering the fact that the monsoons have been quite good and the food prices would generally tend to come off. So my sense is that the next policy, which is the one after this one, we might see some kind of reduction in interest rates. But for now, I think we would expect the rates to remain steady.
Okay, let's do one thing. Let's do a quick recap. 2 minutes left for markets to close. It's an interesting day. I mean, it's you could look at the headline index and say that, okay, the market didn't do much. The Nifty closed at 8,700. You could look at advanced decline and say that was also not doing too much. But the market's message is very clear. It's still a market which wants to go up rather than go down. And individual stocks are still rewarding, case in point being stocks like Britannia and Colgate. But we'll talk about that in a bit. First, let's do a recap of index stocks. A lot of stocks rallied today. Hindalco was your top gainer, up 4%, new 52-week high, new lifetime high for BPCL, that was up 3.5%. Adani Ports was up 3%, Tata Power, Bosch, both of them higher. Stocks that supported the market today, HDFC up 1.5%, Reliance up 1%, Tata Motors and DVR did well. Maruti Suzuki was also higher. On the downside, telecom stocks were quite weak actually for all of them. The top 3 losers were all telecom names. Bharti Airtel, Idea Cellular and Bharti Infratel all down about 2 to 4%. ITC was down 1%, Sun Pharma was down 1%. and Larsen & Toubro was down about 0.5%. But really, the story of the day was in non-index large caps and mid caps. Sonia.
Oh yes, and in non-index large caps, it was in coffee, it was in biscuits, and it was in toothpaste, right? Tata Coffee, Britannia, Colgate, all doing very well today, post a solid set of numbers that all three companies reported. So not 5-6%, but it was actually 10% on some of those stocks like Britannia. Apart from that, Muthoot Finance, Manappuram General Finance all hitting new highs. So both those stocks at 52-week highs. Muthoot Finance up to 13% today. Huge mover in that particular space. It had company, L&T Finance Holdings was also up almost 5.5%. The other space to be in today was cement. So JK Lakshmi Cement hit a new 52-week high. JK Cement hit a new 52-week high. Mangalam Cement reported a very good set of numbers, so all those stocks were buzzing around in trade. On the downside, Wockhardt was the was the big loser today, 10% lower on Wockhardt. Union Bank, IFCI, Andhra Bank gave it company post weak numbers from all three, and the telecom space ahead of Idea's numbers, Telecom Bharti and Idea both in the red, down about 3 to 3.5%. So that space also not looking very good. All in all, the market gave up its gains by the end of trade. There was pressure that came in from a couple of heavyweights. So we did see names, not just the telecom names, but names like ITC, Sun Pharma, Ultratech Cement that came in for some profit taking today. But you still got a sense that the bulls have this market in their control. 8,700 is still here on the Nifty. So Darshan, any final comments on how to approach the rest of this series? Because the trend has been on the upside, but now it's getting a bit tricky as it becomes tougher and tougher to make money. So far it's been a very easy trade, but what do you foresee here on?
Well, it certainly looks as if the rally, if it does come out, will be difficult and slow. So traders should be on the long side with stops. That's the easiest trade I can suggest, and that's what I'm doing. The focus should shift to mid caps. A lot of mid caps will keep on giving us good moves on the upside, even if the Nifty stalls.
Okay, and the advanced decline ratio, of course, was interesting because towards the end that converged, but still looking quite good. Mr. Tulsian, at what point does a stock like Dwarikesh Sugar become a buy again, or a Balrampur Chini become a buy again? Because we have seen some degree of correction post a record run.
See, Anuj, Dwarikesh Sugar was actually, there are two stocks, Dwarikesh Sugar and Upper Ganges, and actually both of them have been running irrationally much ahead of the fundamentals, largely because of the momentum play, number one. Number two, what I've studied from the results having declared till now, I don't think that I have any complaint from the results of Awadh Sugar and the results, which I have declared day before, that, that's on Friday, that is Dhampur Sugar. But what market is expecting, that probably they thought that entire inventory gain will come in Q1, and they have not realized that this will get staggered in 3 quarters, that is Q1, Q2 and Q3, and probably because of the overbought positions, because people have just taken it, and the kind of run up which we have seen in all these sugar stocks having run by 300% to 900% in this last 1 year, we are seeing the massive profit booking coming in. And now if you really see, that two significant results are pending, one is Dalmia and second is Balrampur Chini. I don't think that Triveni will be declaring the results before 15th August. They may delay because of under the new accounting standards, whatever information I have. So maybe I won't be surprised to see the same fate happening on these two stocks also, Dalmia and Balrampur, because they have all been carrying good inventory, very good recovery, and I have been in fact cautioning that remain away from all other sugar stocks, whether they belong from Chennai or Karnataka, and we have seen the kind of dull results having seen from all of them. So maybe as a precaution, after seeing the reaction of massive profit booking in the results of the company having declared, I will advise that remain away. Maybe these two stocks, Balrampur Chini and Dalmia, also because those stocks are also giving good gains. So even those stocks, one can be courageous to go and have a profit booking.
Okay, Mr. Tulsian, tomorrow we have a lot of numbers coming in from the auto ancillary space, names like Apollo Tyres, etc. And these stocks have gone up substantially over the last 1 month or so. How are you positioned on these tyre stocks now?
See, Sonia, I am not too optimistic on that, because we have seen the results of C8 Tyre, and actually C8 always comes out with the best numbers. In fact, that's the indication of the tyre industry. So I am not too gung-ho on the Apollo Tyre numbers. MRF, I don't think that market has had any complaint at any point of time. I won't be surprised to see the profit booking coming in Apollo Tyres after the results, because I am not expecting positive numbers from them.
Mr. Tulsian, you have been negative on telecom stocks, but do you think these stocks should correct more from these levels?
See, Anuj, I have been, repeatedly saying that. Now, take the case of I in fact sometimes worry that what kind of negative can build up for these stocks. If you take the Spectrum auction of 5.5 lakh crore, which are due in the next couple of months, maybe 30% of that will be paid upfront, or even if the concession and the reschedulement is given, 15% will get paid by these companies. I'm really worried, and the kind of competition which we have been seeing from Reliance Jio in the time to come, everyone is going to cut is cutting the charges and all that. I am not, because huge capex, flat margin, or maybe you can say that falling margin, practically no growth on the customer addition. So all these things are not going really well for the telecom stocks.
Okay, well, that is the word coming in on the telecom stocks. So Bharti, etc., are all down in the red today. You also have the TRAI that will be releasing the consultation paper to review the interconnect usage charge. So that's something that you need to keep on your radar as well. And ahead of that, you see, this is positive for Rel Jio and a lot of the smaller players. So ahead of that, there's a bit of caution with the larger incumbent players like Bharti Airtel and Idea. So those stocks are in the red. But let me also get some comments coming in from Varun Goel. Varun, how are you positioned on the telecom space? Bharti and Idea sulking now?
Well, I think the worst of the pricing pressure is still to come. We've already seen aggressive price cuts on the data side, and I think with one large player expected to the market anytime now, we would believe that there will be further pressure on pricing. Again, I think with the kind of balance sheet that most of these companies have, I know it will be difficult to generate a very, very significant return on equity going forward. So we would rather wait for this shakeout to really happen and then see who are the real leaders in this field.
Okay, gentlemen, thanks a lot for your time today. We'll take a break on that note. Up next, Manisha Gupta will join in with all the currency and commodity market action.